Hello and welcome back with me, Admiral, joining me back on Star Trek Fleet Command. So as you can see in the background, this is the ship that we will be discussing today. If you do not know what it is, I'm pretty sure everyone does by now, but this ship is called the Vidar. So this is the ship that you normally use against Borgs and Borg probes, and the likes, and obviously from the Borg events that have taken place at obviously the start of this first half quarter-ish of this year. So the reason we're going to be discussing this ship, we're going to actually be comparing it a little bit towards Saladin as well, and some of the interceptors that you get up until you get to pretty much level 32/34. So, what is this ship about? What does it do? How to upgrade it? Uh, how to sort of tier it up as such. So, it's pretty straightforward. We'll start with the tiering up and the upgrading process. So, as you can see, when you click on any of these, it doesn't really matter what it is. You click any of the weapons, you got the shield, the impulse engine, you got the warp drive, and then you got obviously the cargo bay itself. But when you click on the actual weapons or whatever it is itself, you'll see these. Okay, these are nano cubes, charged nano probes. Okay, so this is what you need to get the upgrades for the Vidar. Obviously, as well as that, you need obviously I'm at level tier 5, so this is why I need rares, level 3s. If you go here, the uncommons as well, again, need level 3s. So the way to get the charged nanoprobes is pretty straightforward. You go to the refinery, hit this Borg tab, which is at the bottom normally, and then this is how you get them. So inert nanoprobes, charged nanoprobes. I'll show you how you get the inert nanoprobes in a second, but essentially this is just a converter. So for tier 5, my conversion at the moment is 25,000 inert nanoprobes, and I get 3,000 charged nanoprobes in return. Also, if you haven't noticed, there's all of the other stuff that you can buy with the nanoprobes as well. These are all now been moved to the Borg tab as well, so it's sort of easier navigation, I guess. They want to sort of consolidate all of the nanoprobe stuff together, which is kind of good of them to see. As you can see, we've got 17.2k at the moment. We still need a hell of a lot more to obviously upgrade our Vidar to tier 6. So, comparing this to, for example, the Saladin, which as you can see, I also have here. So the Saladin, when it needs full repairs, bear in mind, mine's only a tier 5. When it needs full repairs, it's looking at about 126,000 trit and obviously a little bit of dill. When you need to fully repair a Vidar at the moment, I'm currently sat on I think it's 56,000 to fully repair at. Again, this is obviously for a tier 5 Vidar. Currently sat at 56,000 to fully repair. Also, it only takes 2 hours to repair a Vidar. I think it's actually 1 hour and 46 minutes for me, with obviously various upgrades and stuff like that. So it's 1 hour and 46 minutes. Whereas my Saladin, that'll take the best part of 5 hours to fully repair. Is it 5? Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, it is 5 hours. Yeah, so that takes the best part of 5 hours. So as you can see, they are obviously a hell of a lot different in terms of their repair and repair cost. One of the biggest things that you'll probably find is obviously a Saladin will always outpower a Vidar if it's the same tier naturally. So like I've got a tier 5 Saladin which is currently sat at the hostile crew which is in it, the cadet hostile crew that is, and it's currently sat at 770,000 power, like overall, or strength overall. Compare that to the Vidar, which is not a fully maxed out Vidar for this tier, whereas the Saladin nearly is. But it's not a fully maxed out Vidar for this tier. But if we go on to it, so we're going to add, essentially, you're adding 4% overall attack there, which in terms of power, you're looking at an extra 7,000 plus an extra 6,000, is that? Yeah, 5,000 even. So yeah, so 7 plus 5, so you've got 12 extra there, and then plus an extra 3, so there's 15,000 extra power just by adding the 3 different weapons, and then the actual impulse engine itself adds a further 9. So you're looking at a total, once all the upgrades are done for tier 5, you're looking at a total of 24,000 extra power to what it is now. So you're looking at no more than about 462,000 power. And that's with a pretty decent crew on underneath it, and this is also maxed at level 25. So in terms of power for the same tier, yeah, it doesn't compare to like the Saladin, for example. However, where it does compare to the Saladin and it surpasses the Saladin in numerous ways is obviously I've already mentioned the repair speed and the repair cost, but another way is the fact that if you look at the weaponry, so this, or the impulse engine, is 139 uncommon crystal, and then it's also 32 uncommon gas. 1.3 million in terms of the actual cost, and then the weapons themselves are 162, 38, and so on. These are obviously the rares, and this is also rares as well. Again, it's only 5 million at most, which is pretty decent considering. And then these are just, that doesn't cost any uncommons, which is good. It's just charged probes, which is a little bit of a ball ache considering it's just a cargo bay. And then obviously you got the warp engine itself, which obviously is 70 and 16. This again only for tier 5, getting the level or Mark 6 weaponry plus the Mark 6 warp and impulse and stuff like that to get it up to tier 6. So this is where the two differences are. Mainly in terms of the cost, the running cost, and the upgrade ability cost. The only thing that holds you back with a Vidar is getting the nano probes, because you're limited per day. You can only do one pull per day, or every 22 hours, which works out pretty much one a day. And you can only get, if you only do one pull, for example, you're only getting 3,000 per pull. Obviously later on you can get, obviously potentially get more, and then potentially do 2 pulls a day if you're inclined to do so. And each tier that you go up, you also, the conversion rate is also different as well. So just bear that in mind. Every tier has a slightly different conversion rate all the way through. But so my summary overall is this ship is definitely worth tearing up. And I arguably, which is probably what I'm going to be doing now, I arguably would tear it up over your Saladin first, just because you can get this ship and it maxes out at tier 9 at max level, and it'll max out in terms of power at about I think it's about 1.2 million power, 1.3 million power, which if you compare that to a Saladin will max out at the most I've ever seen a Saladin is about 1.8 million power, and that's again for a tier 9 max level. It's about 1.8 million. That's the biggest I've personally ever seen. And then, so in terms of the actual power, then yeah, the Saladin will always win a Vidar, like hands down. However, the Vidar is a much cheaper ship to be able to get up to the 1 million power threshold that you will need at later, or in the sort of early 30s, before you get to your level 34 ships or the epic ships and stuff. Before you get to them, for example, I will most likely be skipping the level 32 ships, so this will be a good way of being able to get my power up in the short term to over 1 million, so that I can take on tier basically level 39 vessels, so that I can max out or faction lock all the different factions prior to getting to level 34. So that's the plan. So I'll most likely be upgrading the Vidar quite heavily over the next month or so. It's worked out that providing I do the nano probes every day, I need 60,000 to do all of the upgrades for tier 5. I need 60,000 nano probes. As you can see, I currently have 17. Today that'll go up to 20,000. So I'll still need a further, obviously, 40,000 to be able to upgrade everything at this tier. But however, it works out at roughly, so obviously if you're getting 3,000 a day, you can work it out. It's simple maths. So if you're getting 3,000 a day and you need 60,000 overall, then it's like I say, it's only going to take you 20 days if you do it consecutively. Days, obviously, it's going to take you 20 days to save up enough to upgrade this entire tier, and in that 20 days you'll most likely be able to save the crystal you need, the gas you need, especially the rares and stuff, because you don't seem to use too much of that at this sort of tier that I am, or the ops level I am, which is currently level 31. And just to compare it, so a tier 5 Saladin, which yes, as I've already stated, will always be more powerful than a Vidar, tier for tier. The difference being is, though, if you look at a Saladin's weaponry, especially when you're upgrading it at a tier 5, is every weapon other than the big kinetic weapon, because that uses rares, not uncommons. But the two other ones, which is again the impulse engine and one of the energy weapons that the Saladin uses, to upgrade them will cost you 800 uncommon crystal per upgrade. So just bear that in mind. So obviously add that up, that's 1600 uncommon, plus it costs you a further I think it's about 300 uncommon gas as well. So you can see the upgrade costs are substantially less when it comes to a Vidar, and you get a pretty good ship. It's also the fastest ship in the game because its impulse speed is currently 120, which is 5 higher than pretty much all of the other interceptors. There's no ship that's faster than this in the game at the moment, especially when you put certain crews on it as well, because the new crews that you can put on it, they obviously increase the speed even more, which is really, really good. In terms of its warp range ability, so if you get a tier 5, we're currently sat at 33 warp range. Once we upgrade to a Mark 6, that goes up to 35, which again is going to be less than a Saladin. However, once you max out a Vidar at sort of, you're looking at tier sort of 8, tier 9 level, once you're sort of maxing it out, there would be no issues you get into level 39 spaces. So if you go to near level 39 space, for example, so we've got Wolf up here, so level 39 space, so you need a level 40 range ship. So you can think if we're going up roughly on average, even if we went up 2 levels per tier, so this takes us to 35. Even if the next tier also takes us to it's 2 tier like at a time, it will only mean that you've got to get your Vidar to a tier 7 overall to then get the Mark 8 upgrades, and you will be sat at roughly about 41 if it tiers up 2 at a time. I'm not entirely sure whether it does, but that's if it does. And bearing in mind, if you're currently sat at a tier 7 / nearly basically a tier 8, your Vidar is probably going to be around about a 900k sort of powerish range, and it'll be substantially more powerful and less to upgrade and maintain than a Saladin. And obviously it's much better than a D3, so don't even think about getting a D3 if you have a Vidar. Just skip the D3 completely, because it's completely useless if you have a Vidar, so just bear that in mind. This is one of the reasons why I'm comparing it to the Saladin mainly, because the Saladin is a good ship to compare it against. But I would highly recommend tiering up your Vidar. You can always come back to your Saladin later on, because the Saladin is a very good ship and is a massive heavy hitter when it comes to its kinetic weaponry. So it will, like I say, be very useful for late 30s, more than a Vidar will be useful for late 30s. But until you get to like level 34, when you start getting the epic ships, you may as well just take the Vidar, max it out to 1.3 million, and that will be able to get you to your level 34 ships, no question asked. Obviously, you might be lacking behind some people in terms of their power abilities and stuff, but overall, it won't be too bad. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Would you rather level up a Vidar, or would you rather level up a Saladin, using a lot more materials to do so? So please, I'm really interested to know your thoughts down below, and I want your opinions to see whether I should level up the Vidar or the Saladin when it comes to tiering them up tier for tier. Also, don't forget to consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you to all the new subscribers that have subscribed recently. We're now up to, as far as I'm aware, 140 quickly check. We're currently sat at 147 subscribers. Our next goal, as everyone is aware, is 200. So we're 53 away from that goal. So please don't forget to keep hitting that subscribe button. And we're on our path and on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Also, there is a Discord link down below, mainly used for streams. So if you do want to join me on the streams when I do stream, then join the Discord down below. Also, there's a few links that you can support the channel, like Patreon down below as well. And of course, there is the subscribe button itself. So don't forget to hit that, hit the bell notification, and enjoy the rest of your day, night, whatever it is for you. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.